Peace to the family, y'all. Peace. Peace, peace. Peace to the world. Grand Rising, good day. Yes. Peace, y'all. Peace to the family. Greetings, welcome. Yes. Peace, y'all. Peace. Just wanted to tap in before the festivities began. Peace and love. Yes. What's good? Everything is good. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I wanted to remind you, that everything is good. You feel me? And I really want to reiterate this because, you know, we're at the door. We're at that pinnacle point, and there's a lot that has been said. You feel me? But when I came outside this rising, and I felt the sun, and I gazed into the sun and felt the communication. The sun is excited. The sun is anticipate. The sun is beaming differently. If you are in Georgia, if you're in Atlanta, you can attest to that. You know what I'm saying? The sun got a different vibration on it right now. And it is the anticipation, you can feel it built up in the sun because the sun is excited. So I want you to, yes, be at peace. You know, there's a lot of fear mongering going on. There's a lot of confusion based on uncertainty, and that's understood because we're being, there are foreigners over here that are communicating things that only indigenous people can interpret. So it's always going to be a misinterpretation. You know what I'm saying? There's always going to be a misinterpretation. The pilgrims are terrified with anything dealing with the sun. They have a very aggressive relationship with the sun, as you can tell. They're trying to block it and shoot it out the sky. They want to send missiles up there. They don't understand symbiotic relationships with natural things, with nature. And I think that we can all attest to that. You know what I'm saying? But I want you to be firm in your own personal convictions. Hey, Meta, wait, look. And this is the sign to me. And some, yeah. But as you can see, it just disappeared. But there was a spider on me. Shout out to my brother Keys. Okay, there goes the spider. You know what I'm saying? We're in nature. Shout out to Keys, who invested in these Meta glasses for me. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my good brother. And we're able to utilize technology to have a more immersive experience. So I want the family out there, the gods and the goddesses, people who are, natural inhabitants of this plane and in this existence, do not take information that is conveyed to you by other people who are unnatural, who do not originate from this plane of existence. They're naturally terrified. They have a weird relationship with the sun. They have a real relationship with, divine principles and principalities. So they're never going to explain to you anything that is going to be beneficial for you, right? Beneficial for you. They're terrified because their conscience is not clean, right? So we have to really be mindful of where we're sourcing information from. You know what I'm saying? And information that is specifically for you is for you, and it resonates with you. Come outside, right? Look at nature, feel the sun. If you sun gaze or you sun graze, right? Find a way to communicate. Ask these questions of your higher spirit and your higher force, right? I'm very trusting of the day's energies. I'm in anticipation of it, you know what I'm saying? But I'm also mindful to get out the way. You feel me? I'm also mindful enough to get out the way long enough to allow the natural process to take place, because I don't want to be in too much close proximity to people who are, one, not appreciative of the process or unknowing of it, so they're kind of like spooked by it. I would say this: if you don't have an experience sun gazing prior to this, if you have not acclimated your retina to filter particular light, yes, I would say don't necessarily gaze into it if your eyes are not already trained for it. Like Akibalan said, coherence is the key, right? It's the currency of the day. So you have to be able to align yourself coherently to a frequency or a vibration, like meaning that if you're asking me if you could potentially damage your eyes, then that probably is not the thing that you should do, because you are already not stepping to the process with an open heart and an open mind to invite love in, right? There's a level of trepidation and fear, based on how we've been taught and indoctrinated about this process. And you're being taught about it by people who have blue eyes, which means that they are deficient of a particular chromosome, right, that allows them to absorb light in a particular way. That's all red eyes mean. That's all blue eyes mean, right? It's a chromatic deficiency. They can't process light the same way that you can. It might be your goals because you grow up on the vampire series and shit like that. You might want you some blue eyes, but that's not, that doesn't retrofit you for the sky that we're underneath right now. Yes. So, yeah, my recommendations, you know what I'm saying? Because people have been asking me for them. Again, if you are not already trained up for sun gazing, if this is not part of your mission and your assignment, if you're not part of the frontline offense, even if you're not in the path of totality, then why even see the partial eclipse? You're only going to get parts of it. I'm either going to be in nature or I'm going to be inside, which is like light deprived, because I want to be in pure darkness. When the planet goes and plunges into darkness, the brain is going to secrete melatonin. You know what I'm saying? The brain is going to secrete melatonin during the day. So you're going to have a very weird chemical mixture, you know what I'm saying, inside of you. And you have to figure out how to best mitigate it. But my experience during the last eclipse, so when the sun returned, right, the sun was vainglorious when it came back outside. It was beaming on a frequency. Hey, Meta. Hold on. These spiders keep... Whoa. Yeah. Yeah, these spiders is about their business. Yeah, Dallas is in the path of totality. You guys get your path of totality, I think, at 144. Shout out to Dallas. If you in Dallas, you're gonna more than likely you'll be able to see it. But yes, and as well, you have to do the things that you feel make more sense to you in regards to where you're at. So if once again, if you don't have a history of stargazing, if this is not something that you are doing or used to, yes, I would advise that you might want to get some assistance if you decide that you're going to look at it. That's only, using logic and common sense, I would guess. The eclipse starts different places at different times because it's not a localized event. It's a cascading event, right? It's a shadow that's going to be moving across the continent. So everywhere is not going to experience it at the same time. You feel me? Radiation is coming. Radiation is here. Radiation has been coming by way of the solar flares. No, if you took some mycelium, I think that this, you're probably in a good time zone, because by the time it hits, you'll probably be cascading. Yeah, we got, I'm holding radiation in my hands right now. See what you guys, Stone Mountain, Georgia's not in the path of totality, so I'm sure, it'll get dark out here but we're not going to get the full blast of the path of totality. But melanated people, you're still going to secrete melatonin when the day gets dark, right? And what does melatonin do? You're having an opportunity to refresh, repair, and rejuvenate your brain. And like I said, this is the effect that I saw with the sun in 2017. When the moon mounted the sun and they did what they do, like what mama and dada do when the doors close, hint, hint. When the moon dismounted the sun was brighter than I'd ever seen the sun. The sun was vibrating on a frequency that was almost pulsating. You know what I'm saying? The sun was like if you wipe the lens of your camera and your camera takes brighter pictures. That's how the sun was. So if the sun goes through that process of getting washed and having, you know what I'm saying, a recalibration, I think that you melanated people as well are going to have a recalibration if melatonin is secreted and you get your brain washed and you're still able to come outside afterwards and it's still daytime, and then you get another night later on when the lights go out. Melanated people, you have the opportunity to double up your power. That's why today's glyph was about doubling your power. So the Mayan glyph for the day, right? Today's Mayan glyph is, I believe the brother is white dog. Let me show you exactly what that's about, because, it's about what we're speaking on. Having access to double power today. So you wouldn't want to squander that power on fear. You wouldn't want to squander that power on trepidation. You know what I'm saying? And I don't necessarily think that you might want to sleep through this. You feel me? Trying to see this thing gonna pull up. So, ground yourself. Find yourself in nature. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you stay hydrated. That's key. You feel me? All right, if you are in the path of totality, sit with yourself for a second. Do a reading. If you got a pendulum, do you know how to do pendulum readings? You ask a question. First, you set the pendulum. You ask yourself, show me what's yes, then show me what's no, right? And then you ask the question. You feel me? You ask the question, then going in, should I be observing this today? Yourself, your higher self, your spirit, will communicate and let you know. I don't have the times for all of the paths, all of that information is accessible via Google. You can ask your computer what time it hits, where you're at specific. You feel me? We have a lot of content on our page that speaks specifically to what's going on. Yeah, shoot me a request, keys. And I also did this speaks about Earth being the only place that gets perfect solar eclipse. You know, this is and I was reading the Bible yesterday, right? And it said that today is going to be the day of the Lord, right? And what they mean by that, in my interpretation, is that the Creator wins because the majority of the population is focused on the sky. And we don't do that enough. We're always looking down. They told us don't look up. You feel me? And we don't, for whatever reason. But today, my good brother goes, peace to the God.
What's going on? I'm putting my golds on today. Magnify.
See?
I ain't been wearing it all year, but today we got to magnify,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
You know what I'm
We got to
saying? We got to
magnify that
increase.
principle. You know
On
what
the
I'm
gold,
saying?
taking the gold,
On
man.
the
Guiding
go,
the roads.
on the go, taking the goal. So yeah, family, make sure, because this is going to impact your brain when the night goes dark, when the day goes dark, the brain is going to secrete melatonin. So why not amplify that process by taking gold, making sure that you're on the gold, making sure that the body's hydrated, being in a light deprivated place if you are attempting to get into the darkness of your inner self. If you're looking to get into your mind, then this is the perfect opportunity to do that. If you want to get into nature and make observations about how this universe actually works between the balance of day and night, which is really what the equinox is about, or the eclipse, then today's the perfect day to do that, right? If you want to marvel in the magnificence of the creator who utilized the three body problem of direct mathematical proportions of the numbers of four to make this thing happen,
Mm.
go outside and really relish in the marvel of what we call Allah's integers, right? The grand architect of this universe who made all of this possible for us to be in marvel. That's why they said today is the day of the Lord's, because the creator wins. No other day. When are we looking at the sky? When are we talking about celestial events? When are we appreciating? Because we know man ain't do this, right? So, what other time do we have to take, the reverence and the honor and the praise outside of the hands of some billionaire man? You know what I'm saying? No, this goes to creator. Science can't even explain it, you know, but we stand to benefit from it by accepting and allowing it like this brother's doing, right? He's not moving in fear or trepidation. He's just allowing. He's being present in the moment, right? Encased in the ecosystem of nature and living and loving it up. If you are encased in melanin, why are you fearful today?
We do not
You
get enough as a people who do not get enough
right,
sun.
right.
um, we want to find any reason to hide from it.
Any reason?
Shout out to some of our ancestors, right? We have ancestors all across this globe, right? And our ancestors across the globe all have different spiritual rituals that is directly in connection to their knowledge, right? Their culture, their beliefs, their loves and their fears, and also their technology, right? Which we cannot disassociate because it would be
Right.
very practical in a time where we have no glasses to stare directly at the sun. During a time, you would tell people not to. That's just practical. Why? You don't want them getting a retina burned, right? For the next 3 days or they end up blind. So the way you would go about explaining it would stay from outside. Because that could have happened to somebody and that could serve as an omen. It could be many reasons why stories are passed down, but the way I look at it is, of course, I'm not going to act like I'm the greatest astrologer in the world, but I do love me some astronomy. And I
Right.
did see that this one is in 19 degrees in the Aries. I did see that though.
Yeah.
I,
And let me, the number 19 resonates very strongly in this particular situation on esoteric levels. The number 19 or the tarot card 19 is the sun, and specifically the corona, right? Because we had this conversation during C19, how prominent the corona plays into this. And in the fourth book of the Bible, which is Numbers, chapter 19 deals with the red heifer, which ties into the prophecy of what's going on, over there with the war. So the number 19 keeps popping up. And they said that this is the aspect of quote unquote the Alpha and Omega for the religious zealots. And you cannot blame them because their book instructs them to say, when you see these signs, this is when you're supposed to be speaking about the quote unquote second coming. But my thing is, and people say they saw two suns. Today, you're going to see two different vibrations of the sun. You're going to see the sun before the eclipse, and you're going to see a post sun. And they're going to be two different suns based on the vibrational frequency. So there is going to be a second coming of a sun today, but it's the sun in the sky, right?
mm,
And when we say all glory be to the Father, once again, people are going to be focused on the celestial canopy of the cosmos, and they're going to be like, yo, who's responsible for this? It's going to make people ask themselves these existential questions that hopefully will lead us to having more reverence for our
I'm
ancestors.
gonna give y'all some. So in the
And the
night,
aliens ain't built a pyramid,
no,
right? Yeah,
ain't no aliens built the pyramids. That's listen, all of that crap. That's those are white people being astonished by our
that's
creations,
right.
and
Being marveled.
find knowing anytime they know something didn't come from them, they have to find this extraordinary extraterrestrial reason because they know outside of them it has to be us. So they want to make sure it's something outside of us, so that we don't feel the credit, not
Right.
take, feel, right? Because we don't look to take credit, we feel the credit, we embody it as we walk around, it is in us as we walk, we operate like we full solar suns. We start talking about our melanin, they start calling it racist while they studying batteries so that they can utilize it. So you got to understand, and they study the sun in a very particular manner, and they study you, the sun. It's like solar cycles, right? We're not in a high solar cycle yet. I think next year is supposed to be the high solar cycle, right? Of this particular period, because solar cycles operate in 11-year spans.
They do.
So
But
they
this is
operated based on, um, so within our cycle, 2025 is supposed to be the peak, 2025, 2026, to where you get the most amount of sunspots, and they track this, so you can look at this data. And in the 1950s is when we had the highest, right, um, sun peak, and that's when they created NASA, of course,
mhm.
right? And there's a study where they show the correlations between the amount of excess energy that we get from the sun and how we react as human beings and how the planet reacts, right? And the direct correlations between how social and political orders happen, women's movements happen, technological advancements happen, man thinks about immortality and a whole host of different things. And the whole point of it is to think about how cosmic events affect local events.
Yes.
Because we often think about how the moon affects the tides of the water within the body from an emotional level, but we don't think about how an excess amount of energy from the sun affects us, and we have to push that somewhere. So in the summertime, you get more crime, right? In the summertime, you get more violence and fighting. Why? Because when you have energy and nowhere to put it, it goes to somewhere destructive instead of constructive, right? So being able to be tapped into, solar events or cosmic events or to the heavens allows you to align and know how to move here on earth, and allows you to understand the cycles that man will go through based on a heavenly body connection.
You explained that amazingly, right? I'm gonna take one step back and utilize astrology to just explain what you just said according to the cycles, because we're in those cycles. So we're in the season of Aries, which is the ram. So the ram would be that undifferentiated masculine energy that wants to put itself somewhere, right? I.e., when you see a fatty and you know what I mean? And you get a stimulus, you know what I'm saying, in your stimulus package, and you like, man, I need to put this somewhere. So you go and you do the Willy Bobo and you do the whole routine and spit the game. Now you're in Taurus, right? Because the bull is focused. The bull has take the energy of the ram, which is, pressing. It's like the ox, right? Because the ox is the aleph, the first letter in Hebrew. They said that the aleph is going to form over this continent when you factor in three of the eclipse. I got this from Robert Grant's page as well. The October 14th Ring of Fire eclipse of last year. So when you put the one from 2017 last year and this one together, they form an aleph over this continent. Aleph represents the ox, right? And again, ox would be the oxen, the undifferentiated masculine energy that wants to insert itself or put itself somewhere. It has to express itself. And then the bull comes in Taurus, but the bull is coupled with the cow, which is Hathor or Heru. She represents the house, or what would be Beth in the Hebrew alphabet. It represents the house, right?
Right.
Taurus, she represents plentiful. She was understood in all ancient societies as abundance, or as fertility, because of what she gives. Think about a cow. It'll give milk, it'll give cheese, right? It'll give dairy, different, butter and all of that stuff. It'll give leather, it'll give ground beef, it'll give steak, it'll give all of these things for agrarian. I'm not speaking to vegans, goddammit, right? I'm speaking to the agrarian aspect of who we are as a people dealing with cattle for over 10,000
Yeah,
years,
no disrespect
right?
to Cole, but sometimes you gotta have some beef.
You got to have some beef, pause, right? So,
Pause.
you know, we know that the bull now coupled. Now think about a bull the first time it got him some, right? Think about a bull and it seen a cow on the pasture and it ran down. And that the fucking didity, wait, you gotta say it because I keep messing the word up.
The fecundity.
Fecundity of that bull
Fecundity. Right.
getting on that cow, right, is so powerful that what happens to her? She get pregnant, but he split the egg in two and she have twins. So right after Taurus, you get Gemini, right? So the birth of the twins, then you get Cancer. Now it's a home for the twins, and there's mothering and nurturing to the twins. But she picks one because one got to have the birthright, and he becomes the prince that becomes the king. Then we get into Leo. Then he finds him a woman in Virgo, but it has to be consecrated by his mother, which is Cancer. For him to be king, you got to have a queen. So I'm just saying all of this to say, once again, these are the natural cycles. And the Creator has put this cosmic canopy above our head, which is a zodiac, to remind ourselves to find your place on this road, on this cycle, and play your part, black man and black woman, as gods on this earth. You feel me?
Mm-hmm. That
As as
God in
as
this G.
God on this earth,
That what
we are
they be
here,
afraid of. They be afraid
and
of that God. They be, I'm spiritual. Boy, you a
we
God. Stop
We
playing.
got this internal light. We are encased in this small ass body, doing ourselves a favor. It's just like, you know what I'm saying? You just in a Tesla going through the highway, getting from point A to B. It's raining outside, so you got a car that's encasing you to keep you protected.
Come
That's
on,
all this
man.
body is.
Look,
Okay?
look. You hit it. You hit the nail on the hammer that solidified the Christ consciousness. Cause the
God
problem
did.
with a lot of them is that you got a lot of spiritual males. I'm spiritual, but you don't believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? You
Ooh,
spiritual, but you won't proclaim you a God. I don't nobody want to
oh.
hear that. Let the I get when the women say they spiritual. They ain't logically aligned to a faith or belief. But when brothers be like, I'm spiritual, boy, you gotta believe in something. You know what I'm saying? I respect the man that believe in something versus one that just talking about I'm spiritual. Nah, pick a
So,
side. Stay on it. I'd rather
so
you be in line with an army. You know what I'm saying? You a part of something. You gotta have some beliefs, some values. You gotta have some knowledge. You can't just be one who wars off the cows. That's a coward. You know what I'm talking about? You
mm,
gotta advance towards something. So you gotta pick a side, and a man has to be aligned with something. He has to be perpendicular, standing on something to know whether he's living in accordance to his own statutes and standards. Otherwise, he doesn't have a way to even grade his living, right? How do you know you're living accordingly to a high quality if you don't have a belief system that creates a standard to let you know when you're in alignment or in misalignment? Come on,
that part.
man. This is a day of observation. Days of observation are beautiful because the beauty about this, and don't let nobody tell you different, you can create your observations, right? Nat Turner, yes, he looked at the solar eclipse and said, that's my sign, right? Because he needed a sign and he said, I'm going to use that as the sign. It could have been a
That's right.
waxing full moon. It could have been anything. He was going to find a sign regardless. He
Found
decided
him,
that was his sign. A sign is not your sign if you don't decide it is. You
found,
have to interpret
yes.
the signs so that that observation is something you control so that you have reason to move forward because God operates in reasons and he utilizes the signs in the universe to let him know when is the right time.
Now, I want you to say that again.
I need y'all look being a high level. This is all about being a high level observer. Like
Yeah,
check your energy. Like my energy is in birthing new things right now. You know what I'm saying?
that's right.
I have a lot of new things that we are birthing, a lot of new things that's coming to fruition. And I told we had this conversation about December, whether December or not was New Year's or whatever it may have been.
Right. January,
Everybody
right.
everybody's alignment is different. We do not live on a planet of one people, right? We live on a planet of many people, and we live in a world of many worlds, right? So once you understand that, then you have to have total knowledge of your people, yourself, and your world. So therefore, signs mean something different to you and your world. As a farmer, the seasonal signs don't mean the same thing to somebody who shops at the store, right? So therefore, you're reading the signs for completely different
That's
reasons.
right.
So you have to be in complete connection with you and say, all right, what season am I in? Right? Am I in preparation? Right? Am I in production?
Right.
Right? Or am I in
Execution.
patience?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Every man is different. You can't. Here's an opportunity to hit the market, some crypto about to flash up, and you ain't got no money. That ain't a sign for you. That's a sign that you need to work on preparation for opportunity, right? Is somebody else needs to make sure that they seek the opportunities because they already have the resources to take them. It's completely different signs, and when you become a high level observer, to seek the signs and see the signs, you see the 19 and the 44, and that's the Big Bang. Because the second Big Bang, well, really, we know the deportation of the moon, but we're going to go to the modern Big Bang, was in 1944 with the atomic bomb. You know what I mean? When Icarus flew too close to the wet, all right, I'm glowed up right now.
Yeah, obviously the God is going in and he said so many profound things. I'm gonna attempt as best as I can to just, elaborate on one or two of them. Goddamn. You have to own the observation, right? And your observation is based on your perspective is based on your position. You feel me? And your
Woo,
position and your perspective is based
like
on
that.
the season, right? Because like I said, even these people's book tell them these are the signs that you should be looking for, and when you see these signs, activate.
Right.
That's why there's a global collision on the other side of the planet. They feel that they got to activate on this time period to sacrifice this red heifer because of the signs. But this is the threat and the danger of you abandoning your glory because you don't have no compass or no navigation to show you what you should be looking for and how you should be activating when you see or come into contact with the things that you're looking for,
Talk to him.
right? So now we're at this time and the signs are popping and people are like, what's going on? What do we do? That's the first sign that you're not in alignment. You know what I'm saying? Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Poor
The last
performance.
one happened 7 years ago. So it's like we had 7 years to witness and prepare ourselves. What happened directly after the last eclipse? 2 days after Hurricane Harvey. 2 weeks after that, Harvey Weinstein, right? So the Me Too thing started 7 years ago, right after this eclipse. And now it's come full circle, right? And we see what it has produced. We see the weather that has been, impacted, the super tornadoes and the super hurricanes and all of this during these 7 years of tribulation. So one has to ask, damn, now I'm getting in this position where I'm making this observation and receiving this energy, and the next one won't be, they said it won't be 20 years until 2044, but it's 9 years. It's going to be March 30th, 2033. So it's going to land on 3/30/33 on a nine frequency. This year is dealing with the eight frequency.
Come on.
So it's like we have to understand the laws of mathematics in order to be in a line because we're just composites of a large integers. I'm just a mathematical equation
Come on
out
now.
here down here doing my mathematician homework.
Mathematician. Listen, there's something to embrace about life right now. And there's a spirit that you need to embrace right now. And
Yes,
there's no greater spirit than a childlike spirit. Movement, motion, outside, nature,
that's right.
playfulness at
Grounding
certain points in
yourself.
time. Because your body requires motion. Your body requires sun. On days like this, the most beautiful thing is the fact that when most people are looking down at a black screen, right, it's all the time that has been robbed from the heavens.
That's right.
Every moment we spend looking down at the black box is all the time that has been robbed through our observations of the intelligent skills that we get from nature.
That's right.
NASA put out, and many people was calling it weird. I actually thought it was pretty smart. They said, during solar eclipses, weird things happen. They say sometimes crickets change their tune. They say chickens start to rooster or something of that nature. They say all sort of things starts to happen in the animal kingdom around us
Yes.
to where we observe phenomena. Human
Yes.
beings have are so disconnected from the phenomenon that is all around us because we observe nothing but our screens now. So the intelligence that we used to get from understanding color intelligence and sound intelligence, right? And the naturalistic intelligence through observation of nature and understanding seasonal change, and our body will be in tune with that. We're completely in disconnect from nature. So
Facts.
today, where millions of people decide that they're going to observe and have cosmic observation of the heavenly skies,
The
is
high
a
level.
beautiful day because it is the one day where human beings are doing what their ancestors have done for millions of years.
That's right.
So any day of high level focus of attention is a portal because it is a day where the ethers are open and the atmosphere for opportunity is open, but that opening is a two-way street. So if you have a negative observation upon the things that you are pushing into the ethers, then you are porting that into the next thing. You are importing that or exporting. So you can export things from self, you can import things into self, right? This is a shipping day. So you have to understand the power of full cosmic observations, harmonic convergences, where people give attention to things at once. Because, like Blue said, anytime there is a planetary event, anytime there is a seismic event, anytime there's a collaborative event, the world changes the next day, right? Because how can, think about this, why do people pay the most money for Super Bowl commercials? Because that's where the most attention
Uh,
is. That is where
uh,
the most physics is on the planet Earth. It's where the most observation. It's where if you want to give birth to something, you want to announce something, you do it on that day. And you will pay whatever for it, regardless the cost. So on days to
mm,
where it's like free money, free observation, right? This is your free commercial. You get to be in the ethers. The world gets to observe you. The world gets to understand you. You can put out things to be birthed. You can let
right.
go of things. So you have to understand the way we've always had connection in every single religion, every single spiritual culture on across the planet Earth have always found that connection with that sun, moon, and stars. It is modern man who is lost in the sauce in their phone and don't know how to phone home.
Whew. Lost in the sauce in their phones and don't know how to phone
Mm.
home. Right?
Disconnected and rejected and unrespected. Come on, man.
Disrespected, rejected, and unrespected, and totally what? A slave now to blue light.
Mm.
So we look down on our phones and we are entrapped in blue light. You know what I'm saying? And the blue light is not only pulling our attention to the phone, and right, attention is the new currency. So we're charging our phones up with a current when we're looking for our phones to be charged with a current to give us a charge. And it's vice versa. So the blue light is also pulling the essence of your being. I know y'all been up late night looking in these blue phones and you feel like, damn, something is like, I feel it just pulling my essence. So we're literally killing ourselves on these screens attempting to keep up with things,
Mm.
right? And the cosmos is getting no glory. We don't come outside and say thank you. We don't look to the signs, and information comes from what? Top down, right? Why would you call it a download if it don't come from above? But are you paying attention to it,
Blue.
right? Are you
Not to cut
preparing
your
yourself
wisdom.
for it?
Not to cut your wisdom at all. I want you to keep that stream of thought, just one word. How
Mm-hmm.
are the people who are sick hide from the sun?
God damn.
Come on now, we're supposed to have open air sun treatment.
Yeah, we should have had open therapy or open fields today where people is just peace.
I take
They just
that.
outside.
We should have did that. You're right.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be us.
They could have been dosing them with gold and they could have been absorbing these sun rays because gold and the sun are synonymous. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. And you are children of the sun. And we have been far removed. I don't want to hear nothing about what we should or shouldn't be doing under the sun by somebody wearing a hair hat,
Mm.
right? So we have to get ourselves back in alignment with these cosmic principles. You feel me? Everything works in nature. It works perfect as well. We have been attempting to do things unnaturally, taking advice from unnatural people and getting unnatural results, then blaming creator. This ain't on creator, right? Creator did not prescribe you to do the things that you were attempting to do to get results. You're attempting to go against creator and get results to the liking onto the ones the creator has provided you with.
Mm,
And you're just not going to do that. You can't cut corners. So, yes, and there's trepidation for people to be out in the sun because they haven't taken care of their temple, right? So you got to hydrate the body. You have to lessen, drinking of the soda and different carbonic acids. You have to understand the importance of, an alkaline acid biomineral balance. I'm not saying go all the way alkaline. Just know during days like this, you should be doing 80-20. Keep the body light. Give the body a chance to process this information and these downloads. That's all I'm saying. And get out of the way of fear. Get out your own way by getting out of fear, because there's nothing to fear but fear itself.
yeah.
The thing that you should fear the most is the fact that you wake up to the fact that you've been listening to people who said, they just said the other day that the sun is conscious, but you shooting three missiles at it,
Mm,
right?
mm,
The same time that they came out and said the sun is conscious, which we have known for millions of years, then they're gonna turn around and say that they're gonna shoot three missiles, and one of them named a pep, which is the Tunisian god that goes against, it attempts to devour the sun every night when the sun goes into the underworld via the solar bark. It is attacked by a serpent called Apep, right? That is attempting to destroy it. Our brother Kibalon did a lecture last night with us, and he went into the biochemistry of what Apep represented in a biochemistry perspective in the body, and it's a part of the DNA that prevents transcription of the DNA. It's the part of the body that interferes with, body production, with cell production. It represents the deterioration and the destruction of the DNA. So we know who them people is, and we know who we are. So you really have to pick a side and stay there. You know what I'm saying? You have to stop seeing yourself through the reflection of someone's eyes that are melanin deficient, that cannot see the full spectrum of life. That's why they can't see you.
that's a fact.
So,
Listen, it's I think you all kind of get the gist of what we're talking about, and just understanding, because I think you said something important. You have to know your coordinates to understand your perspective. You know what I'm saying? Um, when you're talking about your position in life, right? On this day, where's your current position? Write down your coordinates, your financial, spiritual, mental, physical coordinates. Where are they exactly today? Where do you want them to be tomorrow? Right? So you don't know where you're going until you know where you are and where you've been, because nobody can give you directions unless you tell them where you are. Right? That is the
right.
key to direction. So same thing within your own life. When you sit down and you go over exactly where you are in life, mentally, physically, spiritually, right, financially, now you can have a plan to say, okay, this is where I want to go, right? And you get to know what to fine tune, what to take with you, what to let go. Because if you don't like the current results that you're producing, then that means that you know what your next plan is to produce better habits that produce better results. And you can only do that by feeding your mind different knowledge, different frequency, right? So as you talk about the energy of the day, the beautiful thing is it's a constant reminder, right? Look at where you are. Don't look at where the world is. Don't talk to me about what another people of another tribe have another belief who knew their coordinates at that time. Don't talk to me about different people across the planet Earth. What are your coordinates? What are your beliefs? Where are you at right now? Where do you want to be? Because the energy should be focused on where you want to be and what you want to let go, right? Let go of that thing, then move forward. That's the way we operate. That's the God body way. We learn, then we move. But if you want to stay in the cycle that you're in, you can groundhog day all day. You know what I mean? It can
Mm,
keep you in it. If this is what you believe is the highest level of ascension for you, then stay there. And I want to say something. It is easy is for the weak. Those who want to operate in greatness, right? They look for things that's hard to do and make it easy.
that part.
That's your power. But when you're looking for easy, you are already operating based on the limits of your weakness,
Right.
right? So you're not going toward the limits of your strength. You're not saying, how strong can I be? How strong am I? You're looking at you right now like, damn, I don't feel like doing
That part.
this. Rise above emotions into the thinking of a God. That means that you should have your mind so high in tune that you're on that crown thought like the sun's corona.
That's
You
right.
feel me? 93 million miles above your problems or
So,
away from your problems.
like I said, is this going to be Groundhog Day or is it going to be Ground
Come
God Day for you?
on now,
Right?
ground all day. Look at
You
it.
feel me? Is it going to be Ground God Day or Groundhog Day? You know what I'm saying? Get outside, touch the grass. You know, people are saying, I don't have dirt where I live. Then that should be your first indicator that you're in the wrong place.
Go
You
somewhere
feel me?
else. All that is a sign.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no dirt here. Go where the dirt
Go where the
is.
dirt is. You know what I'm saying? And get yourself in alignment with these rays before the eclipse happens and make sure that you come outside afterwards and pick up on some of this absorption of this energy after the eclipse happens. But yeah, you know, they come in with the air blowers and fryers and things. I just want to say thank you,
Likewise.
right? Continue demonstrating high level observations for the people, continuously remind them of their greatness, right? And family, again, it's an incumbent upon you to do the work and do the research. None of us wake up and expect to go into the gym and grow any muscle if we're not attempting to challenge
That's a
ourselves.
fact.
Like he said, stop ducking the face, stop skipping leg days, right? Wake up and challenge yourself. Be willing to do something that you've never done to get the results that you're looking for.
Mm.
Because the you that you're looking for is on the other side of the threshold of normalcy that you've convinced yourself, oh, I'm doing something. You ain't doing shit. You need to do more. We all need to do more, right? Because there's so much
Absolutely.
more in store for those that are willing to do more, right? God is the creator is abundant. There's nothing that we desire that we cannot acquire that is beyond the scope of our reality. We ask for all of these things. And look, we got a whole technological wave that came and now people are fearful of it. Y'all asked
Mm.
for a financial solution. The universe sent you Bitcoin and blockchain. You ain't move on it. You asked to close the wealth gap. It gave you all of these different, you know, aspects to access financial literacy so you can do that,
They don't
right? Now
want
it's
to
all
close the wealth gap. They want that health gap. They just want some help. They looking for a savior.
help gap, right?
They ain't looking for
And
no help.
then,
They looking for some help.
right, AI's come along and given us the ability to accelerate at rapid speeds, at quantum speeds, if properly utilized, right? But now people want to run in fear and just complain. We have become the complaining community. And, you know, I want to honor those who have definitely gone against that paradigm and have helped shatter it. You know what I'm saying? There's so much more in store for those that are willing to do the work. And that's that.
Peace to the family. Make sure y'all watch that current high level conversation
Oh,
with
well,
Dr.
yeah,
Wesley.
absolutely.
Ooh,
I'm going to be promoting that
that
as
one
well.
going crazy. That one probably gonna hit a million. That one going crazy right now.
I
It's
already know.
it's yeah, it's gonna be a lot of new for you in that one once you listen to it. And I already told him we got to line up part two because this Anunnaki paradigm is something we about to tackle next.
Whew.
And I know there's a lot of feelings. There's a lot of alien worship. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to believe you God because you don't want the responsibility of doing God's job. But we go put you back in that
I'll
seat
put
and we go
you
tell you
back in
what your
that seat.
job is. Because you got to know it ain't no grays, it ain't no aliens, ain't no Anunnaki slave masters coming back to save you. It just won't happen. And I know it's been spread wide and far like stripper legs. But that don't mean that it's going to come down and save you. It's over with. The black gods is taking back the narrative. You feel me? So love it or hate it, it really does not matter. At the end of the day, it's God body energy.
And it's here to stay. All right. Peace to the family, peace, love, and light. Always, y'all choose love, the highest frequency, right? And again, the energy that's available to you today is for you to double up. So whatever energy that you're moving on, today is your 2x period. Make sure that you're not moving in fear. Peace.
Yeah, kill that fear. Kill that fear. And anybody else, Spicy Queen Mama, You probably have mental health issues, so I'm gonna leave you alone. But for everybody else who have their mental alignment together, this your day. There's a lot of crazy people. Do not be in agreement with people who lost their mind. Be in agreement with people who found their mind. Tap in.
Peace. Peace, y'all. See you on the other side.